There's a certain kind of Ohio town where the loudest thing on a Tuesday morning is a train horn a mile off, where a beautiful old brick house, the kind with a wraparound porch and 10-foot ceilings, sells for less than a new SUV, where you can stand on Main Street, turn a full circle, and count more history than traffic. And the first thing everyone thinks is, okay, what's wrong with it? That's the honest question, and we're going to answer it town by town. Because here's the real story. Ohio's average home now runs about $219,000. But tucked into the old river valleys and the coal and pottery country of the East and South, there are towns where prices never caught up. Not because they're bad places to live, but because the industry that built them moved on decades ago and left behind more house than the market could absorb. Grand old homes, full-size libraries, opera houses, built for towns twice the size. So today, 10 of them. For each, I'll give you the real 2026 home value from Zillow and local sales, not some recycled number. The thing that makes the town worth living in, where your nearest emergency room actually is, because at a certain age, that matters more than granite countertops and the honest catch. Then a quick 5-point scorecard: price, peace, and quiet, healthcare, charm, and convenience. And stay to the end, because the #1 town has grand riverfront homes going for a song, a stone landmark straight out of ancient Rome, and a catch about its nearest hospital that changed just last year and that nobody making these videos has caught yet. So, how about we take a drive? Let's start easy in the southern hills with the Apple Town. Jackson is a stable, friendly county seat of about 6,000, where the whole year seems to build toward one weekend. Since 1937, the Jackson County Apple Festival has taken over downtown the third week of September, and its grande finale parade is billed as the largest nighttime lighted parade in Ohio. The kind of event that pulls tens of thousands of people into a town this size. There's real history in the ground here, too. The old Major John James Cemetery was laid out in 1828 right around a prehistoric Native American burial mound. Money-wise, Jackson is one of the priciest on our list, but priciest here means a typical home value around $177,000, still well under the Ohio average, with plenty of solid houses listed under 6 figures. And here's why Jackson leads off. Healthcare. Holzer Medical Center. Jackson runs a 24-hour ER right in town. For a small southern Ohio town, that's a genuine luxury, and it's why retirees keep landing here. The honest catch. This is a quiet, settled place. Great if you want calm and a hospital nearby. Less exciting if you're chasing nightlife or a hot job market. Now up to the opposite corner of the state, the far northeast, right where Ohio touches Pennsylvania and Lake Erie. Conneaut is that rare thing, a Great Lakes beach town you can actually afford. There's a real sandy beach at Walnut Beach Park, a working marina, and the local claim to fame, you're in Ashtabula County, which calls itself the covered bridge capital of the country, with around 19 of them. One of them, the Smolin Gulf Bridge, is the longest covered bridge in the United States. The typical Conneaut home runs about $146,000, with the surrounding zip closer to $155,000. Lake access without lakefront resort pricing. Healthcare's a strong point. Conneaut Medical Center is a critical access hospital with a 24-hour ER right in town, part of the University Hospitals network. The honest catch, and if you've ever lived near Lake Erie, you already know it, is winter. The lake effect snow machine off Erie is no joke, and gray skies settle in for a good stretch. But if you'll trade February for a summer of sunsets over the water, Few places on this list give you more. Head to the flat farmland of the far northwest, and you'll find a town that made American history without most Americans knowing it. Van Wert is where the very first tax-supported public library in the United States opened its doors, the Brumbach Library, on January 1, 1901. Picture it: turrets, a tile roof, limestone walls, part Gothic castle, part Romanesque fortress, paid for by the will of a local banker so that every resident could read for free. When they added on decades later, they reopened the same limestone quarry just to match the stone. That's the civic pride this town runs on. It also throws an annual Peony Festival, if that tells you anything about the pace of life. Homes here typically run about $184,000, and the average commute is roughly 10 minutes, which in Van Wert means you're never really more than a few minutes from anywhere. Healthcare is handled. Ohio Health Van Wert Hospital has a 24-hour emergency department in town. The honest catch: this is deep farm country, flat, remote, and a long way from any big city. Toledo and Fort Wayne are both over an hour off. You come here for quiet and space, not variety. Now for the artist of the group. Nelsonville sits in the wooded foothills right next to the Hocking Hills, and it pulled off a rare trick. An old coal town that reinvented itself as an arts town. The Beating Heart is Stewart's Opera House on the public square, built in 1879. It survived a devastating 1980 fire, got rebuilt by the community, reopened in 1997, and now hosts dozens of concerts and shows a year plus, a well-known music festival. Even the sidewalks are famous. Nelsonville's star-patterned paving bricks won a medal at the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis and still line the historic square. Prices are genuinely low. The typical Nelsonville home sits around $119,000, one of the cheaper markets here, and the reason young creatives and remote workers keep trickling in from pricier Athens and Columbus. On healthcare, there's no hospital in Nelsonville itself, but the ER at the Athens Hospital is only about 15 minutes down the road, close enough to count as covered. The honest catch: this is a small Appalachian town with real economic scars. It's charming and cheap, but it's not polished, and pockets of it are still working their way back. Let's slow down at the meeting of two rivers. Coshocton sits where the Tuscarawas and Walhonding come together to form the Muskingum, and its crown jewel is historic Roscoe Village, a restored 1830s canal town. When the Ohio and Erie Canal opened, this port boomed into one of the state's biggest wheat shipping points. Then the railroads came, the Great Flood of 1913 finished off the canal, and it all went quiet, until a local businessman started buying and restoring the old buildings in the 1960s. Today, you can watch a blacksmith work, ride a horse-drawn canal boat, and walk streets that look exactly like they did when Andrew Jackson was president. The typical home in Coshocton runs around $168,000, and the county's seen prices jump lately, so this window may not stay open. Homes here move. It's not unusual to see a listing go pending in about a month. Healthcare's solid. Coshocton Regional Medical Center is a full hospital with a 24-hour ER in town, and it's held an A safety grade from the Leapfrog Group multiple times. The honest catch: like a lot of these river towns, parts of Coshocton sit in the floodplain. If you buy here, check the FEMA flood maps for the specific property and budget for flood insurance. It's manageable, but you want to know before you sign. To the very bottom of the state now, right on the Ohio River, to a town that helped arm the Union. Ironton was a powerhouse of the Hanging Rock Iron region. Its furnaces turned out high-quality iron during the Civil War, some of it going into ironclad warships. That iron money built streets of handsome Victorian and neoclassical homes that still stand today. It's the Lawrence County seat. It's got a branch of Ohio University right in town, and it throws one of the oldest continuous Memorial Day parades in the country. Prices land in the lower half of our list. The typical Ironton home is about $126,000, with the cost of living running noticeably below the national average. On healthcare, Ironton sits in a well-covered corner. It's part of the Huntington, West Virginia metro area, so full hospitals with ERs are just across the river, a short drive away. The honest catch: Ironton is a river town at the far tip of Ohio, wedged against Kentucky and West Virginia. It's affordable and scenic, but it's remote from the rest of Ohio, and like many old industrial towns, it's still rebuilding its economy. Time for a pub quiz question. What town of under 4,000 people gave the world a baseball award and one of the most famous football coaches who ever lived? Answer: Newcomerstown. This little Tuscarawas County village is deep in the story of Cy Young, the pitcher the Cy Young Award is named for. Now, straight talk, because this audience knows it's baseball. Young was actually born just outside town in tiny Gilmore, and he's buried nearby in Pioli. But Newcomerstown is where he lived, farmed, and is celebrated to this day. There's a Cy Young Memorial Park, the annual Cy Young Days Festival every June, and a display of his memorabilia at the Temperance Tavern Museum. And in a genuinely wild coincidence, this same little town is where legendary Ohio State coach Woody Hayes grew up and captained the high school football team. As a kid, he even did chores for Cy Young himself. The town's other gem is the Old Main Street Museum, built inside a 1915 Ford dealership, where volunteers have recreated a full early 1900s street with dozens of storefronts. Prices: the typical Newcomerstown home runs around $162,000. Affordable, though not the fire sale number older listings might suggest. Healthcare: there's no hospital in town, but you've got several ERs within about a 15 to 20 minute drive. Coshocton, plus Twin City in Denison and Union Hospital in Dover. And here's the catch: Newcomerstown sits in a river valley, and flood risk touches a meaningful share of properties here. Check the maps before you buy. Now we drop into the truly cheap end of the list, and the town that'll make you feel something. Wellsville is a small Ohio river village of just over 3,000, tucked into the corner where Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia nearly meet. It was once a bustling steamboat landing and brick-making town, and it still wears that history. More than half the homes were built before 1939, and the riverfront is lined with Victorian buildings that were grand a century ago and are quietly waiting for someone to love them again. And the price is almost hard to believe. The typical Wellsville home value sits around $112,000, with real listings starting far, far below that. This is genuine pocket change real estate. On healthcare, Wellsville's covered better than its size suggests. East Liverpool City Hospital, with a 24-hour ER, is only a few minutes up the river. The honest catch, and I won't sugarcoat it, Wellsville has seen hard decades. The bones are beautiful, and the price of entry is almost nothing. But this is a town for someone who wants to restore a piece of history and invest sweat, not someone expecting turnkey polish. Go in with eyes open, and it's one of the most affordable riverfront lives in America. Just up that same river is a town that was once, no exaggeration, the pottery capital of the world. At the turn of the last century, East Liverpool ran more than 200 potteries and produced over half of all the ceramics made in the United States. When the industry moved overseas, the people left and the housing stayed, which is why you can buy so much history so cheaply here today. and the history is spectacular. The old 1909 Beaux-Arts post office is now the Museum of Ceramics, home to the world's largest collection of lotus ware, the delicate bone china this town's Knowles, Taylor and Knowles works turned out in the 1890s, plus wax dioramas of the old factory floors and a 1936 mural. Prices: the typical East Liverpool home is about $106,000, and it's actually softened a bit lately, so bargains are real. Fixer-uppers can start in the tens of thousands. Here's what earns East Liverpool the number 2 spot. It still has its own hospital. East Liverpool City Hospital runs a 24-hour ER right in town, a real rarity for a place this affordable, and the reason it anchors healthcare for this whole stretch of river, Wellsville included. The honest catch: this is a post-industrial town, and it shows. The poverty rate is high and the commercial core is still finding its feet. But for a restorer, an investor, or anyone who values craftsmanship and a hospital over shine, it's remarkable value. And number 1. Remember I promised you ancient Rome, a song of a price, and a hospital catch that changed just last year? Here it is. Bellaire, on the Ohio River across from Wheeling, West Virginia, is our most affordable town of all. The typical home value here is about $97,000, not the cheap listings, the typical home. Streets of solid brick houses in a walkable river town for the price of a nice car. But you don't come to Bellaire just for the price. You come for the Great Stone Viaduct, and this is the moment the town stops feeling cheap and starts feeling grand. Built in 1871 as the western approach to the Baltimore and Ohio's River Bridge, it's a run of 43 hand-cut sandstone arches marching across the town like a Roman aqueduct dropped into the Ohio Valley. There's even a detail only a stonemason would love. Each arch was laid with exactly 37 stones, one for each state in the Union when it was designed. A few years back, the local historical society won a state grant and turned a restored stretch of it into an elevated walking and bike park. Movie fans might recognize it too. It showed up in the Denzel Washington film Unstoppable. Now the catch, and write this one down because it's the most important sentence in the video and it's new. The hospital nearest Bellaire, East Ohio Regional Hospital just up the road in Martins Ferry, shut down in March of 2025. So if you're relying on old information, you'd think you had an ER minutes away, and you don't. The good news, full emergency rooms are still close. WVU Medicine Wheeling Hospital and Reynolds Memorial in Glendale are both a short drive across the river into West Virginia, and there's a WVU health clinic right in Bellaire itself. But you're crossing a state line for your ER now, and that's exactly the kind of detail you want to know before you buy, not after. Get past that, and Bellaire is astonishing value. A walkable, historic river town with a genuine architectural wonder for a price that barely exists anywhere else in America. Okay, all 10, side by side. It's the whole video on a single screen. So back to the question we opened with, why does nobody live there? The honest answer is that it's not nobody. It's that the industries that built these towns left, the prices never bounced back, and the rest of us just never looked. That's the opportunity. If healthcare is your deal breaker, your safest bets are Wert, Jackson, Conneaut, Coshocton, and East Liverpool. Real 24-hour ERs right in town. If rock bottom price is everything, Bellaire, Wellsville, East Liverpool, and Nelsonville are your list. And if you want the best mix of the two, East Liverpool and Conneaut quietly win. One promise I'll make you. Every number here came from a real source, and where something changed, like that hospital in Martins Ferry closing last year, or Cy Young actually being born a few miles outside Newcomerstown. I told you straight, because the folks who live in these towns would know in a heartbeat if I didn't. And so would you. But if I got something wrong, please correct me in the comments. So here's my question for today. Which of these 10 could you actually see yourself calling home? And what affordable, peaceful town near you did I miss? Your answers are how the next episode gets written. If this saved you a weekend of Zillow rabbit-holing, a like helps more people find these towns before the secret's fully out. I'll see you in the next one.